Well then, it's been a while since I've done some more rounds with the Panther. I'm actually just doing these in the order in which I find them on the hard drive, so... This is another old round, but this is when I realized the Panther has the potential to be a really good tank. I mean, more than just the ability to take a lot of damage. And you can also dish it out. The L70 gun is quite good. You just need to aim in the right places on your enemies. I mean, don't think you're going to ever shoot through their front plating, because you won't. Unless you're fighting a tank that's like 5 tiers below you. That's why I go for the sides and I go for the rear of the enemies. And actually, it pays to research the tanks you're going up against, so that way you'll know if it's a better idea to shoot them in the turret or the hull. More often than not, I shoot for the hull anyway because it's a bigger target. There's more of a surface area there. And there aren't too many tanks that I know of or that I see online that have better hull armor than turret armor. I know the Panther by default is better hull armor than turret armor, at least in the front. And then the Panzer III. Yeah, that has a little bit better hull armor. And then, as you get towards the upper tiers, like a lot of the USA tanks, like the T-29, the T-32, those are really nice front hull armor, and the turret armor is amazing all around. But that, of course, there's got to be a trade-off here, so they have really bad hull armor, especially in the side and rear. I mean, I was shooting through T-110 E5s with this Panther's stock gun. You don't need the Schmelterm, you don't need the L100 gun. For one, it kills your traverse speed. I mean, you cannot swing that gun around fast at all. With the AUS feature, you got a traverse speed of 41, which is quite nice. I mean, for me, it's 40 degrees per second and up. I don't drive a tank if it has less than that. I mean, normally, except unless it's the Panzer II, because the tanks are too slow to get around you anyway. But that's another story. And not to mention, the L70 gun, it isn't that bad. You have a nice rate of fire with it, too. I mean, I'm still getting my crew to 100% here. I think they're in the high 80s. So, I didn't have any of the secondary skills in progress either. But I still knew a thing or two about this tank, mainly how I shouldn't show my I shouldn't show my sponsons or my side armor to my enemies under any circumstance. Now here I'm just messing around showing how fast this default turret turns. Look at that! You can swing the thing around, not quite instantly. It's not like the Panzer III-4, but if someone tries to flank you, they're going to have a hard time doing it, because you'll be able to keep your gun trained on them. And all you need, if you're fighting something like an AMX 1390, one shot to his tracks. And then he's not going anywhere. Now here, you may be wondering why I'm halting the fire. That's because that was a precise shot. I didn't stay stopped for long, because the reticle's already very small. That's what I like about the Panther. Its gun's very accurate by default, and then once you get smooth ride, and once you get your gunner to max skill, oh, it's just awesome. Now here, you may wonder why I was parked a little bit to the side. That's because there's a rock. You see that rock on the right? That was protecting my sponson. And I was too lazy to turn the whole hull of my tank anyway, so... Now here I'm trying to get a beat. I think that's a Stug 3. That guy actually lasts quite a long time. Now here, I know there's no rock covering my sponson, so if I keep my front armor facing it, that's a Lee. That's a hit. Go up just a little bit, get a better shot. That's another hit. Yeah, the Lee's not liking this too much, but it's too big of a dummy to move out of the way. So... I crap in his mouth, and I cackle like an idiot as I murk that M3 Lee. You know, the Lee doesn't seem like that bad of a tank on paper. Because you realize, oh wow, I can mount big 76mm gun. And then you realize it's mounted on the hull instead of in a turret. And then the pain sets in, because the Lee, you gotta play it more like an SPG than a tank. So, it's a bad take anyway, it doesn't have enough armor. I think it was a Stug 3. Okay, here's the Stug. This is the guy who I tried to flank. Now, the Stug guy here, he's pretty smart. And I know he's got the Osketten, because I don't usually see Stugs with just a hull traverse speed of 34. They use a traverse speed of 40. But thankfully, he dies. He got flanked. But it just goes to show, the Stug 3 is one of those tanks that I'm still afraid of. I still have... I don't have nightmares about the Stug 3. But, that's... Even in my Panther, I still approach the Stug 3 with extreme caution, because... he can turn really fast. Now, obviously, I know some tactics to beat him. If I just park my tank parallel to him and just keep rubbing up against him in more ways than one, and start shooting him at point-blank range. For one, I'm going to do maximum damage because I've got the highest muzzle velocity as it comes out of the gun barrel. So I don't need to worry about penetrating him. I can even shoot him in the front, but you would want to do that anyway. I just hit him in the sides because I can also get his ammunition to cook off. And if he really starts to get annoying, I'll shoot him once in the track, and then just keep shooting him in the tracks for a little while, just to piss him off, and then I'll just start shooting him in the hull. But you shouldn't even have to shoot him in the tracks if you're locking the hulls together, because if you saw my troll-lolling video with the Panzer 3-4, and I just kept locking people's hulls. That was so fun. You could do that with any tank, by the way. I almost killed a Jag Panther with a Panzer 3. That was so fun. I made a lot of money off that round. I didn't get on video, though. But what I did kill are the 3 enemy tanks in this round, which isn't bad. But like I said before, this is nothing compared to some of the rounds you'll see with the Panther later. So stay tuned.